horror movie?
What?
Let's make a horror movie?
I wonder what we'll be like then. Brains in jars, I'm going to guess.
We're a long way for God now, son.
Slowly
Coming out of his mouth.
crawling out
Yeah,
of his
that's
mouth,
fucking
stretching
cool.
his skin.
Nice. So he doesn't save them, the bridge goes down, people die, and he's like, oh well, job done. Clarence?
Can we try take two again?
Yeah. All I'm saying is maybe don't trust sentient hats to make life-changing decisions, but...
Thanks for your correspondence, J-Tubs.
Welcome to episode 11 of Let's Make a Horror Movie podcast.
Hello everyone,
I'm Dave.
and I'm John.
And this is the podcast where every episode one of us pitches the other one a horror movie idea that we've come up with, and the other one responds, feeds off it, adds to it, shouts
Builds
at it,
upon it.
builds upon it, like some analogy that involves construction in a communal fashion.
Yeah, like a teacher marking a struggling kid's homework.
Yeah, alright. Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Making
yeah.
notes,
Sure, yeah,
changing
yeah.
the spellings, correcting some of the dates.
Yeah, that's true.
Give
yeah,
us some
that's true.
help.
You could argue that's
Building
a
their
collective. It's
confidence.
what we're saying there is when a teacher corrects a child's piece of work,
Yes.
it becomes a collective effort.
Yes, a kid who needs a bit of a confidence boost. Some of it's not coming as easy, you know.
Yeah. No, fair enough, mate.
All
fair
over
enough.
woodwork, struggling on history. If you will.
So this podcast is in 3 acts. The first act, we get feedback and improvements, I'm sure, on last episode's pitch.
Yeah, general admin of the podcast.
Act 2 is the sort of cultural highlights section where John and I wax lyrical about shit that we've done, seen, listened, and generally imbibed over the previous
All of
fortnight.
culture will be covered.
All of culture that matters.
Yeah, not a
I
stone will
think.
be left unturned unless it's a shitty stone.
Or wet.
Yeah, I don't
I don't like
wet.
wet. Yeah, or if it's got something on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just shit. Like maybe wet moss.
In like cultural wood lice. We don't want any of that
Yeah,
business.
or like bird shit.
Yeah, you want basically this kind of stones you'd buy from home base.
I mean, I might kick a stone over a bad bird shit.
Just kick a bird.
Kicking birds.
He means the animal.
That's my new hobby. So that's the podcast. Being October, we decided because we have 2 podcasts in October, we would do 2 Halloween specials.
Ooh.
Spooky. Last episode, we got a crazy spooky appearance from all the worst Beatles.
Yeah. Yeah, they raise their ugly heads.
So who knows what happened this episode?
Yeah.
But
Come in for your Bee Gees.
fair warning, I'm actually quite under the weather, so
In both cases, because it's wet.
it's shitty weather, and I am I'm in a shitty state of health. So if it's not as glitteringly phenomenal as it normally is, then that's why.
Well, I am in a peak of physical condition, so I'm alright, mate. I'll take the load.
Okay, yeah. So that's one of your favourite sayings. I'll take the load.
Johnny taking the load.
Yeah, so you can find out the times that the acts start in the description.
Yes, you do timestamp them. It's very kind of you.
Yeah, it's not stamping per
Why?
se. I
don't know what that term
call out the
means.
times.
Yeah.
Well, I want to give people the option where, should they not have the capacity to enjoy our...
Yeah. If they are put
Back and
off
forth.
by charm, then they might want to skip this bit. If they've got some kind of like allergy to wit,
If you're
they can
put
skip.
off by people who call out their own charm and wit, then skip to Act 3.
I'm just calling a spade, mate.
Well, so look, do we further ado? I mean, that's the
I
intro.
think there's no more dues to further. They're happy where they are.
Welcome to Act 1
Yeah.
of episode 11, Halloween special episode 2,
Ooh,
Spooky
yeah.
Booky.
Got that on a record.
So, as ever, friend of the show, J-Dubs,
Hello, J-Dubs.
general north of the wall correspondent, has written in to give us his thoughts and possibly
looking forward to
more on episode 10,
General
which was
musings.
episode 10, you'll recall, was my pitch. Trying to remember what I called it.
The Last Bear, mate.
The Last Fucking Bear.
I loved it.
Yeah, I was really quite chuffed with that.
It was brilliant. I really did enjoy it.
So J-Dubs, he says, "Dear boys on Bond."
Oh, he's fucking sent it to the wrong place, isn't it?
Mate, that's our sister podcast.
We record that on a Monday. Bond's Day.
Loved this week's pitch, which was very kind of you to say,
Aw.
J-Dubs. I didn't think you would be able to find a different way to queue up a wallet. But you smashed it. Spikes, eh? Classic Bond, he writes. Similarly, after upwards of 25 films and your 913 podcast episodes to date, I was amazed that you found another classic one-line innuendo for coitus. Did we? What was our one-line innuendo for coitus?
I can't remember. We have a lot of them.
Yeah, we do.
The aforementioned wit.
Innuendos, euphemisms we're a big fan of.
Similes.
Subtext, all about the subtext.
Basically text at this point.
Dre Dubs goes on to say, nothing much I can add to the pitch really, other than to suggest that when Bond breaks the hardened glass window and dives unharmed from the implausibly high luxury penthouse into the Thames, he should check his Omega watch during the fall. Otherwise, he will only have name-checked this excellent maker of timepieces 16 times, and we would likely have to hand back a few $100K in product placement fees. Dre Dubs, love your feedback on the Boys on Bond.
We've heard that on all of our Bond pictures. We are too subtle with it.
I mean, I like to think that Boys on Bond really kick-started podcasting.
I think so. It was one of the first, wasn't it?
Well,
yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
It was Vicky Gervais.
The radio. Us, Ricky Gervais, and the radio. That was the first three.
And he was also, didn't the guy who invented radio wasn't he also Scottish?
Possibly. A lot of them are. All the best ones. All the best ones are Scottish as a rule. There's a Thummian rule number 3.
Yeah.
Dre Dubs continues to say, RE the spin-off show, which I think maybe, I don't know if that's this one, we'll find out.
Probably, yeah.
I was inspired by the potentially subconscious or entirely unwitting influences on the story when considering a title. Jack Bauer and the Children of the Forest of Dunbrock. Or B-movie style, 24 Game of Thrones Brave. I mean, to be honest, I was actually expecting a bit more of a backlash against my 24 outburst. Yeah. Sometimes I'm a little bit flippant with stuff's good. Stuff I use a shorthand, and that shorthand gets expressed as shit.
Sometimes you're about 10 years out of date as well, mate.
You fucking brought it up. You brought up 24 in reference to my fucking pitch.
I know what kind of references will land with you. And it's very much 2005.
So anyway, carrying on. 24 Game of Thrones Brave. I mean, I don't know if that's a bit of on the nose for the title of Dre Dubs, but anyway. Not sure if Brave has entered your universe, but it's a Disney movie featuring Will-o'-the-Wisp, bears, and Scottish accents.
I think I name-checked it in the cast.
I think you might have. I feel like Dre Dubs may have his tongue a little bit in his cheek. Story-wise, I'd quite like to see some birds-type involvement of the animals. He puts birds in quotes, so presumably he means like Hitchcock. It allows you to build further tension.
What do you mean, women? Get some birds in there, mate.
Get some birds in, innit? Yeah. Oh, it's a bit too many dicks, isn't it?
Well, sausage party. Get some skirt in.
There was plenty of skirt in that pitch.
Dave's pitch promise.
Where were we? Birds. Yeah. So he says it allows you to build further tension and an unsettling atmosphere, which I think is actually quite cool.
That's a solid point.
I mean, why not? They're no more or less involved than the fucking badgers. Yeah. So why not? I think that's cool. Perhaps nature is paying tribute to the bear, the top of the food chain, and the pinnacle of the beasts. You could also potentially flesh out the housing development angle with a bit more friction. Bill and Shirley block the development as they keep the search going for their child, unwilling to move on. Yeah, that's quite cool.
Creates a bit of tension between Pertwee's character and, who I picture as Pertwee's character.
Wait, who are you having, Bill? Is it?
Yes, yeah.
The villagers at large are frustrated by this. Maybe the development is linked to a new school or something. It actually quite often is linked to infrastructure. And even start to suspect them of foul play with the loss of the child, and they are outcast. I don't know if they could be outcast. They could be. It would change the story a little because I had part of the conceit of the kids making a special effort to go and see them was because of their neighbourliness.
You could point to such tensions because it's like a good 10 years after the fact. You could point to maybe that was part of a narrative and then they were completely cleared and the town feels a kind of a sort of like a guilt over how maybe they reacted to it. You could definitely weave it in there.
So anyway, more extreme, an evil pact between Nick and the bear. Fucking hell. Ooh. Maybe he facilitated tributes, including the first lost kid, which would be Bill and Shirley, in order to complete its development. Possibly takes things too far away from the intent of the story, but adds some justice to Nick's eventual demise.
Oh, I know. I had Pertwee as Nick to stretch the actor.
That was it. To stretch him. Well,
as if he needs it.
Whoops.
No, I mean,
bit of a backhander, that one, isn't it? As John mentioned, casting is critical. Thankfully, I am LMAHMPod's official casting director.
Oh, of course.
If you say so. Peter Serafinowicz plays Nick. Quite like that.
It's very... I mean, yeah, it's an easy one to see. Yeah, I like it.
Also, I happen to know that Peter Serafinowicz does an absolute cracking impression of the Beatles.
Which would keep us laughing on set.
Which would keep us giggling away on set in the downtime. Olivia Colman for Shirley.
I think I might have said that.
I feel like you Coleman's...
Yeah.
I think I chopped it.
Oh.
I feel like we cast the whole film with the best of British.
Yeah, I think we did. But yeah, great minds.
Thandie Newton as Claire. So basically that's Peter Serafinowicz and Thandie Newton as the Claire and Nick. And then he's saying Sean Pertwee and Martin Freeman as Bill. Fucking hell! Martin Freeman, no.
I mean, look, I saw...
It's a straight no. It's a straight up no.
I mean, I saw...
Much as I want to see him walk into a fire and, on film. I think I'll go for Freeman, as this is likely the most antagonist and annoying casting choice for my dearly beloved hosts. Glad that you added a drum beat to the wisps and killings in the postscript, otherwise you have a constant child Hoover on the edge of town. Ideas for the Act 2 reveal. I like the idea of the injured kid's appearance to Shirley as the end of Act 2. I think it'd be good to add in some tension between the posse and the couple over the discovery of the kid. Even increased by a bit of gin and some misspoken words.
Yeah,
Shirley stumbles that the kid got away as she's a few steps down the road of the kid's situation being unnatural and suspicious, and corrects herself to "we found him, her." The posse could easily misinterpret these words. Conflict ensues, quickly cut through by the flame bear and the inversion of Nick's organs. I like the real-time aspect. Other good real-time film pictures. Oh, I like this. Real-time film pictures. Mary Addock, Brandy Buck, and the Ent Moot. Gary Kasparov in the chess tournament. Brexit and the whole truth. 3 years plus of debate and analysis. Runtime TBC. 2019-2020 Premier League. 34,200 minutes of pure football. No replays, added time or exposition. Peace and love. J-Dub's casting director.
Well done.
Nice, good, comprehensive feedback as always, J-Dubs. Yeah,
it was all there. We had some giggles, had some truth.
Went up, and went down, and went around.
We all learned a little. All better people for it. I got some feedback from Michael. Again, he had a possible title for Hands of Anubis. He's slightly out of date with the podcast.
Nice.
And he was saying you could call it Anubis and Me as a rip on Marley and Me. Because it's a story about a man and his dog. And I thought that was quite a nice little touch. I think that's Anubis and Me is a good working title for it.
I think so.
And probably better than Marley and Me.
So Alex says it's her first disagreement with J-Dubs.
Ooh.
I know, which is quite exciting.
We're getting some tension out in the fandom.
She says, the thing I liked about the Anubis story, and for those of you who haven't heard us before, that's episode 9, I think, is that it basically doesn't leave the house. And so if you undermine the religious element, she thinks that's a shame. Because I think some of J-Dub's feedback was...
I think his feedback was solid, but it was very much a different kind of... It would change what I was trying to do. Broken certain elements of it.
For my own hubris, I'm going to read the following. The shading of the 3 worst Beatles gives me life. Ringo for being a twat, John for being an asshole, and Paul for not knowing when to quit.
Yeah.
George, I think we should leave alone. He helped Life of Brian happen. Well, we did leave him alone.
We did.
Handmade films we're all about that. Not just Life of Brian, but with Neil and I believe. And
also some good damn music.
She says, I think John likes the psychology of horror, and I think Dave likes the stories that the psychology has created.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
John goes for grief, loss, and fear. Dave goes for manifestations and folklore.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair summation of our different stances. I mean, for me, horror has always been a sort of path of not just working out anxiety, but making the things that scare you entertaining. And that's the things I love about horror, is that it doesn't really kind of give you new fears. It just drags the fears you have in front of you and makes them dance for you, makes them fun and enjoyable, and in some ways quite safe. It's a kind of like a roller coaster, but for anxiety. It's a safe recreation of something real. And I quite like that. I've always been a big horror fan for that very reason.
For a movie title, she suggests The Third Piper of Hamelin. Which I thought was quite fun.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think that rambling session probably brings Act 2 to a close.
Yeah,
I think.
I know Act 1 to
Act 1.
Ooh.
Skip ahead, John. I'm delirious.
Oh, got 11 episodes in, making that kind of faux pas.
I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I'm still in newborn phase.
Of course.
I'm still partially blind, crawling pink skinned, crawling around with no hair, mewling.
Yeah. Are you flirting with me?
God's taking you this long to figure that out. The listeners have been going crazy about it. It's all the mail. I just don't read those ones out. We get a lot of slash fiction.
Yeah, so just tell him how you feel
about us. Welcome to Act 2.
Hello.
This is the section that you know because you're long time listeners. And you know that in this section we cover off all cultural shenanigans in the last 2 weeks that mean anything to anybody.
Yeah.
You know? On that note, I see ITV are launching, if not already launched, some sort of weird horror game show.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like it was something like Love Island meets like Friday the 13th.
I think I might have heard like a slasher Love Island thing.
Yeah, so it's like a summer camp thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's basically just another opportunity, like, can we get people fucking or shitting on screen? Like, because ultimately that's... I think ITV's mission statement, where you go into ITV offices, go through the doors, the first thing you see over the front desk is... we just want people to fuck or shit on screen.
How do we get them sticky? And it's up to you which way you choose, but that's the end game.
I mean, they're not the only culprits. Channel 4 have made a real ham-fisted effort at that over the years.
Love people getting gooey
again. And now they just have a slow naked person reveal show instead.
I have heard of that.
Oh, it's grim. It's grim shit.
It's not my cup of tea.
The thing is about that, I mean, look, I'll give it a go, maybe. If I can bear to look at actual adverts for it.
I have to unblock ITV because I'm pretentious and arrogant. I also think as well that horror does require a certain amount of quality that's so far proved quite elusive to ITV. And I think, it's a fair play for trying, but my hopes aren't high.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, so that's, on my cultural side, I saw Cradle of Filth in London last weekend. Again, official band of half of this podcast. And they were amazing. They played the album Cruelty and the Beast in full, and it was phenomenal and very horror tinged. It was relevant because the album's about about Elizabeth Bathory, who's like a serial killer, possibly from a few hundred years ago, woman who used to bathe in virgin's blood, that kind of thing. But it's probably all made up because it was like a political thing and whatnot.
Yeah.
But during the
Sawney Bean stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's basically woman's owned some land. She's probably a perv. That sort of thing. But during the songs, had woman coming out, blood coming out of her mouth. It was all very cool and pantomimey and full on and brilliant. So
bugs coming out of her mouth.
No blood.
Oh, blood.
Yeah, lots.
Still fun.
Because she's meant to be like there's like a female vampire. That's the sort of thing of the time.
Kind of an interesting role. Isn't it? Like, where do you get that job? Where do you see it advertised? You know, is that good in it? Is that in I forget what the acting trade mag is called.
Oh gosh, some tip of my tongue.
So what would that be? Stage actor wanted for Cradle of Filth. So, well, they wouldn't even say that, would they?
Just pissing about on stage.
What other than the blood? Did she do much? What other than that?
She just pranced around looking all like ethereal,
like a bit dance.
She didn't really dance. She just, I would say pranced is probably the right terminology for it. She was very good.
You've got to have a bit of stamina if you're prancing for what's presumably at least an hour and a half.
She pranced well. I couldn't have done it.
No.
My prancing days are long behind me.
Well, she must have attended a prance school.
Yeah,
at some point.
You've got to imagine. There's a lot around it.
Yeah.
They're known for it. A lot of the best prancers in the world.
Well, I used to have my own prance school.
You have got a real prancer's build.
The Prancing Pony was what it was called.
That was your nickname, wasn't it, for a while?
Yeah, for a long time.
Yeah.
A long time.
Because you love carrots, you love the prance.
So, that's good, man. And what was that, Brixton Academy?
No, that was at the London Palladium.
Oh,
it was very fancy. Yeah, lovely carpet, gold line walls.
Yeah, that's a proper theatre, the Palladium.
Proper theatre, yeah. Right in the middle of London. It was lovely.
Very theatrical. Very theatrical.
Also enjoying the Creepshow TV series on Shudder. A little full of like horror short stories. Anybody should watch it. It's brilliant. It's got a cool rhythm right now. The first story is quite a kind of basic horror story. Werewolves, bit of ghosts, that kind of stuff. And then your second story is fucking batshit.
Good.
It's got like this last one I watched last night, a genie in it.
What?
Basically, there's a guy in a suitcase, and he's like cramped into it. And every time he's in pain, he spits out a gold coin.
Nice.
And it's fucking brilliant. So yeah, everybody should be watching. Everybody should have Shudder by now anyway, because
of course,
it's brilliant.
Yep.
And everybody should be watching Creepshow. It's got my endorsement.
I haven't watched any, and I haven't been well. I also haven't been in the country. Took a
jet setting.
I took a trip to North Africa. Purely for LMAHMPod research, you understand.
Yeah, of course. And also look after your business interests out there.
Yes, well, quite.
Make sure they're all working out.
So I haven't. The only thing I've watched really is I've been watching the Dark Crystal show on Netflix.
Oh, it's very good.
It's fucking great. Everything about it is great. Yeah. No complaints. Nothing to even add. I mean, I know I'm late to the party on this one because it's been out a while. But I'm a busy person, and but it's really fucking good.
Toby Jones is in it.
Is he?
Yeah.
Big fan of Toby Jones.
Yeah.
Big fan. I think he's actually doing a play in London at the moment.
Is he?
Yeah. Or about to, because I'm getting hammered with the ads on Instagram. It's nice, though. It makes a refreshing change not to get Audible's ad, which I'm still getting for Alien 3, the audiobook of the novelization of the film.
To be fair, you've not listened to it yet.
I haven't listened to it.
Maybe that's
but
how
I fear that I will pay for it just to stop the ads, but the ads aren't smart enough to understand that I bought it and listened to it. I wouldn't listen. I just want to... at this point, I'd be happy to pay them 20 quid to just stop serving me that ad.
It's possible, though, that in 10 years' time, we can look back and go, God, once I listened to that audiobook, it all changed. It really turned around.
Yeah.
I just saw life in different ways. I didn't mind people on trains. There's a different situation.
Just sort of suddenly realised my love for people instead of my sort of tolerance.
I've quit smoking.
Don't go mad now, Rodri. I did that. I went to see Hannah Gadsby last night. Gadsby. But I tweeted about it and then fucking autocorrect changed the spelling to Gatsby, like the Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
And then fucked it up. So that was really good.
A lesson learned.
Also, I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have a look at if anyone else is going to the shows tonight? Maybe they're saying on Twitter, I can get involved in a bit of chat about it. I was quite excited about it. You know? And it's just a fucking toilet. Like, honestly, you put Hannah Gatsby's name into Twitter and it's just a fucking toilet of misogyny and shit. It is honestly like, it just makes you want to kill people. Well, anyway, but she was fucking great. Her new show's Douglas. I'm sure it'll be out on whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
But it was really funny. Made me laugh a lot. Other news: The Book of Dust is out. Philip Pullman's second one. I haven't actually started reading it yet because I'm still reading Molly Gloss's Unforeseen, which is still great. I'm almost finished that.
Yeah.
But Philip Pullman's probably next, which is frustrating because I do want to get back into my horror's heresy.
Yeah.
But there we are.
I've watched quite a few horror films. Too many to name, but one thing I will mention.
Or one that what was the one you were going to mention?
One of the ones I had the most fun with was Little Monsters. This is a zombie movie about a load of kids going to a farm with a lovely sunny teacher who spends the whole movie trying to make sure the kids don't know what's happening. It's very funny, it's very warm, very lovely. I also watched Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which is fucking bonkers. This is not news to anybody, because people reference it quite a lot. It's Halloween without Michael Myers, and it's got...
Without Michael Myers?
Yeah, it's got little bits of Stonehenge being put into masks. It's got kids' heads warping with snakes coming out of their mouths. It's got robots.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it was written... The guy who wrote the script originally was a guy who wrote Quatermass.
Which is a good movie. The Quatermass Experiment's great.
Oh, fucking amazing. Yeah. And he was quite annoyed with how horror-y they made it, and he took his name off it.
But it went a bit Alan Moore.
He did remember. I can't remember his name. It's Neil is his surname, isn't it? Or Keel? Oh, God, that's embarrassing.
I don't know, mate. Do you want to introduce Act 3?
Alright, hello, it's Act 3. This is where we do the pitch.
I don't know whether we'll trust you for future act introductions.
I'm curt, to the point, get it done. We've got places to be, mate.
You're not wasting any fucking time.
No, God, no. In this economy,
So cool, yeah, we're in Act 3 and we've got John's Halloween themed pitch coming up.
It's a spooky one.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
It's okay, so there's a couple of caveats. I knew we were trying to write a Halloween one, and this one came very piecemeal. So if it's not up to scratch, I apologise. But my wife says it's good, so fuck all of you. She's the only one who matters.
That's all that matters.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you can go hang. Anyway, without any further ado, let's get spooky.
Oh, let's get spooky! So I felt it needed...
Yeah, you put a little bit of sauce.
Bit of jazz. Needed a bit of jazz.
It does.
Okay, so we're caveated up to the hill now.
Yeah, it's fully caveated.
Are we just gonna jump in?
Yeah, it's a 3-pager, so get comfy.
Me.
The excitement is palpable in the room. All right, it is 1 week to Halloween. A teenage girl frantically pulls foodstuff from the kitchen cupboard. She's obviously terrified. The scene is underscored by a very faint but high-pitched noise, almost like a whine. As the girl empties more and more cupboards, the sounds intensifies to like howling screams. The screaming becomes deafening as the teenager finally finds what she's looking for, a container of salt. She turns with a defiant smile, only to be confronted by a screaming woman whose face we cannot see. There's now a gale of screams, more than either woman could make together. The woman grabs the teenager's face by the jaw and the screen cuts to black. So he just kind of like, it's deafening, howling, almost like winds of screams. Grabs jaw, done.
Cold open,
fucking done.
Nice.
Mate. You're all into it then.
I like that.
Credits roll, you get your names, your producers, your directors, that kind of jazz.
You've got your balls out early.
I have got my balls definitely out. It's too early at this point. Our main character is a 12-year-old boy called Ellis. He lives in a reasonably religious sort of town, with various different faiths being represented. However, all in agreement that Halloween is not an appropriate holiday to celebrate. Because there's very little is made of the holiday. Some new families, when they move in, do put out pumpkins and a few mild decorations. Sometimes the little children of these families wear costumes, but not particularly scary ones, so just like your Spider-Mans and your whatnots.
Right.
But even those small signs of the holiday are frowned upon by the town at large. So they can maybe give out like fruit and stuff, but they aren't like persecuted for it, but it's definitely like, we don't really do Halloween
no one's really
here.
getting into it.
Yeah, exactly. And they feel a bit like, all right, this maybe is not what we should be doing here. And new families tend to drop them all together after about a year or two of the town's sort of quiet judgment. This local town is reeling from the death of a young girl from Ellis's class, Abby, the girl in the prologue. He's probably like maybe 13, 14. It's probably maybe not his exact class, but in his school sort of thing. Because basically, and Ellis was originally older. That's why that bit's not been corrected. Embarrassing. Who was found with her jaw crushed and her heart eaten. The whole school is abuzz of speculation about what could have done this to her. There are rumours of an absent father.
I love how that fucking details got around the school.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How they were like, the policemen who turn up like, so turns out her jaw was crushed, her heart's been eaten.
It's your classic jaw-heart combo.
So like the parents are like, what?
Well,
my fucking God, what? And then neighbours are like, oh my God. Yeah, it just goes around the school.
Well, the caveat is for this, and it is mentioned later on, is that one of the characters, their parent is one of the cops on the scene, because it's a relatively small town, so they might have got picked.
Is it a good time? Oh, you got like you said cops.
Yeah,
now, I don't know. Are we America? Are we UK?
We are America. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this and Anubis are America.
Do we have Anubis? I don't think we settled on an exact location. Have you got more specific in this, or
this one? No, just a general small.
General anywhere in America, Midwest.
Yeah. Any town in USA,
because they're all the same.
They are literally all the same.
So little difference.
Yeah, New York,
just
LA.
like in Britain, we all sound the same. Up and down the land. One nation, I think.
I'm all about
a former very
New World Order. That's what I'm all about.
And so.
I'm thinking sort of Midwestern, slightly north, but nothing maybe like South Dakota, maybe not exactly Midwestern. That kind of general.
I was thinking exactly when you said Midwest, slightly north. I thought you mean South Dakota.
Yeah, I mean I think that's technically
exactly
what it means. North of the central, but you get what I'm saying.
I'm taking us off on a tangent.
Okay. Rumours of an absent father maybe being a suspect, or actually sleeping with an older man, maybe, who was kind of like basically just like the whole rumour mill's fully going, and it's not particularly pleasant. It's like the heinousness of the crime leads them to speculate maybe an outsider, or maybe in some way her own fault, or the fault of her family.
This might be a little bit too detailed of a question, but when you say the heart's been eaten, is like the chest all cut open.
Yes.
And someone's removed the heart, and we presume it's been eaten.
I think maybe what you'd do for this is that when you had the kids maybe talking about it, because the kids would be the main POV of it anyway, you'd maybe have like hard cuts to almost like crime scene photos almost, in a quite upsetting way. So the kids haven't seen that, but they'll talk about it in sort of matter of rumour, and it's just kind of cut into quite horrific sort of images.
Okay.
All based as gossip, but the case has many unanswered questions. Most of the children in the school have been complaining of nightmares recently and faint buzzing signs themselves. The adults dismissed these stress-related symptoms due to Abby's death. Ellis's parents, Alison and Patrick, are decent if a little distant and unsure how to console him through this, because obviously a schoolmate has died. They're not quite sure how to sort of approach the kids. And that seems to be the tone of everything, really, is that the parents are struggling to sort of reach their kids who are becoming increasingly stressed, it seems, or at least, but obviously for reasons that they don't fully understand. The teachers at school are just as ill-equipped to deal with this. Ellis's teacher, Miss Ashlyn, is one of the few teachers who tries their best to comfort the child. She's relatively young, maybe like early to mid-20s, who kindly tries to reach out to the kids. Increasingly large numbers of students are hanging out to console one another due to this. So new friendship groups are forming between children who've never previously spoken. So you've sort of seen the kids are seeing solace in each other, really.
Yeah. They're banding together around the tragedy.
Because they're also beginning to sort of get the similar sort of symptoms, like kind of a weird sort of almost tinnitus style sort of like sort of sounds.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
But then, presumably they don't know what that is.
No, but
we know.
Well, at this point, we're sort of in between both sides. So we're seeing the parents and the teachers go, well, look, it's a lot of stress. It's a small town. They've not used this kind of stuff. And we're like, well, that could be true, but also we're hearing it from the kids' point of view, but doesn't seem quite right.
Yeah.
To get like a mass hysteria almost attached to it. Ellis particularly, and a younger boy called Ben, who've bonded over their interest in things like Halloween, are weakly frustrated by their town's lack of fun with the holiday, but are also dealing with it in quite similar ways. So they're kids of a certain kind. I think Ben's slightly younger, maybe, or maybe some age. I'm not quite sure on that. Then they're forming a friendship out of this as well. Act 1 ends with a school swimming team in the changing room. They're 15 or so children. They have chosen lockers close to one another because they're banding together.
Right.
You're getting you're getting a much more cohesive sort of thing with all the kids now. And also they're all becoming quite scared, just generally they're quite uneasy. So when they're all in locker rooms, they're now only in like one aisle together.
Yeah, got you.
They've got them changed and just packing up their belongings. When their cloaked, sort of hooded shape moves between the lockers, it grabs all of their attention. The faint buzzing sound starts again and increases to a faint scream. A couple of smaller children cover their ears to no effect. A figure appears before them at the opposite end of the lockers with their hood down. The children all face her and start to scream. The background noise raises to loud, hellish screams like in the prologue. The hooded figure, who we now sort of see as female, maybe from the hair coming down from the cloak, reaches out to grab the first child and crushes their jaw, causing thick blood to cascade down their chest. Most of the children panic and go to escape, but find the other end of the lockers is blocked by crisscrossed, interlocked hands coming seemingly from nowhere. It's like pale, blackened sort of hands.
That's
blocking.
a nice visual.
Yeah. A couple of braver kids go towards the attacker, only to be flung aside. We pan back as a sound of breaking jaws and chaos comes from the changing rooms. Blood starts to run over the tiles underneath the interlocked hands. It just spreads out. So we don't see too much of the sort of the carnage in there. All it is underscored by howling screams which stop dead, leaving only the faintly sticky noise of pooling blood. Once again, the town is rocked by this tragedy.
So they're all killed?
All killed.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. We're not messing around. It's Halloween, mate.
You're not.
We're not messing around
really
with this.
not.
We're going for the
really not. I mean, none of the kids survived in my story last episode, but I left that all unspoken. Yeah. It was only when the listener finished the episode and thought back on the story that they realised that. Oh wait, all those kids must have burned to death too.
This is like kids are in peril. We're seeing the kids in a bad situation.
Yeah, you're not shying away.
Nope. Once again, the town is rocked by tragedy. The children's bodies are found soon after, as the parents are waiting outside the school for them. The police are immediately called. As they look over the horrors of the changing room, they discover a finger-printed scrawl in the blood. It is of a woman with an upside-down face. That's the only clue that we have.
In order for us to realise that the face is upside down, they'd have to be a picture of the whole body.
Yeah. So it's maybe some kids have sort of tried to put something in the blood to leave some kind of warning explanation of something as the carnage is ensuing and stuff. So we get this kind of clue. And that's all we get.
Yeah.
Ben hears about the upside down face woman as his mum is a cop and was on the scene.
Right.
So he doesn't. So he
Loose lips. Loose lips, Lucy. Shouldn't talk about that shit at home, Lucy. I'm calling her Lucy.
Yeah, she could be. She sounds like
works
a
with loose lips.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. She tells her husband of what was found there, but the son overhears them. Maybe he's on the stairs, maybe in like bedtime. He's struggling to sleep anyway. This spreads quickly throughout the school, as it did the previous time.
I bet.
A lot of children are now hearing the faint noises, screaming, or of scared or screaming voices, and begin to get increasingly hysterical. So the kids are now really starting to panic. They're not sleeping much. They're becoming increasingly mentally strained.
Yeah.
What's going on? The school is immediately closed. There's a lot of extra law enforcement present in the town, so the FBI have been called in.
Right.
You've got like the county sort of sheriffs and stuff. It's now a bigger problem. They believe that some kind of satanic or pagan-based cult must be behind the murders. It's working towards something grander for Halloween. Because they can only really think in terms of
who kills a bunch of children?
Exactly. It's got to be some group. It can't be an individual. It can't be anything. Yeah. It's got to be something horrendous. And also, so close to Halloween, it's got to be something maybe satanic or pagan. In response to this, the town decides to round up all the pumpkins and anything Halloween related, or there's many, and they're all destroyed. Mainly as a futile gesture of defiance to the imagined cult attacking their town. There's a feeling of shame amongst a few families that still do those kind of Halloween traditions. So they're the first ones chucking it in the fire. They're like, oh my god, this is why you guys don't like it for shit like this. Small acts of violence break out across the town as fear and paranoia begin to grip the townsfolk. The single bar and both churches are full of families seeking comfort every night. So people find comfort in their own ways. Either they go to the bar as families as well, and just sort of seek solace in each other. So also the churches are full.
Which is a small town tragedy. So everyone's impacted in some fashion.
Exactly. Yeah. And basically you got two choices. You got your bar, you got your church. Yeah. And they just fill them both out.
Well, doesn't that just encapsulate life? It's basically life's choices whittled really down to sort of
drink or pray,
sort of totemic options.
Definitely, yeah. You're drinking or you're praying. And they can be any way they can for the few remaining nights running up to Halloween. However, the children are still suffering, and many of them are saying they have seen the upside-down faced woman watching them throughout the day as the screams get louder. The more they complain about this, the more the town folks believe that the stress of the cult attacks is affecting them, so they're beginning to see things that aren't there because of just the pure fear of the situation. Right. So the town decides to move all the town's children into the meeting hall for Halloween night, where they can be watched and protected. The town sheriff, Sean Pertwee, puts most of the force to the task of watching the children, whereas the extra law enforcement is trying to hunt down a murderous cult they're convinced are hiding somewhere close to the town. The teachers from the school are mostly moved to the town hall to help watch the couple hundred children of the town. Although the large adult presence seems barely necessary, as all the children are actually increasingly distracted and subdued. We feel most of this through Ellis as he tries to reach his close friends, but struggles to do so because the now constant sound of distant screams rings in all their ears. So they find it hard to even talk to each other. And their parents are only seeing that as further reinforcement of the stresses that their kids are under. He withdraws to his cot and drifts to sleep, as it's like loads of like cots.
Yeah.
Sort of like you would get under like a natural disaster.
Yes, gotcha.
He's woken by talking close by. It is now Halloween night, so it has all happened on Halloween to be moved. Most of the children and adults are in various stages of drowsy sleep. He looks up and sees Miss Ashlyn standing close to Ben. Ellis looks bleary-eyed at the two people until he realises that Miss Ashlyn is grasping Ben by the jaw, and blood is running down her arm as she starts to sort of squeeze his jaw. He jumps back with a start to see Miss Ashlyn's face slowly turning upside down, her mouth becoming a razor-toothed black maw as she does. Her skin pales and her frame stretches oddly as it kind of widens and slightly heightens. Not to massive effect, but she's definitely what I'd imagine to be like maybe sort of 5'3", 5'4", goes up maybe 5'10", that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So she's sort of like just enlarged
enough that it's unnerving
it's unnatural.
and it's unnatural.
Yeah, so as her face twists like almost on like a pivot, it changes. She collapses Ben's jaw as Ellis screams. This causes everybody in the hall to jolt into alertness. The same blackened arms from the locker stretch themselves across the doorways and windows, trapping everybody in the centre of the town hall. Those outside try in vain to tear at the natural limbs, but to no avail. Any injury to one of the arms causes another to crawl out of the wall. So you can kind of like maybe black sort of.
You try hacking through it. If it's one replaces the one that's gone.
And it just kind of just stretches out to sort of a natural.
That's very cool.
Thank you. Back inside the large hall, black cloaked figures step out of the shadows, all with the same grinning upside down faces. The screams begin to sound more like riotous laughter as they move between the camping beds to stalk the terrified, panicking children. Ellis cries out and runs at the former Miss Ashlyn, who turns and effortlessly throws the boy aside and grabs and crushes the face of another passing child. A few of the parents valiantly fighting the cloaked monsters, but are shoved to sight. Although no real harm comes to them, so they're just more like dismissed as they're focused on getting the children. So they're just like pushed to one side. There's no kind of killing of the adults, especially. Ellis's mother grabs her child and, like many of her parents, takes refuge in one of the corners of the hall. Many of the fathers, including Patrick, are trying their best to save as many of the children as they can. The upside-down face figures dispatch the last few stragglers and turn to the corner, which now contains the surviving children with a ring of adults surrounding them. Miss Ashlyn steps forward, flanked by the other dozen or so cloaked figures, and hissing through her black mouth explains that they only want the town's offspring. Once they've collected all of them, they will depart. Ellis's mother Alison steps forward defiantly to tell them that they will not allow that to happen. One of the other adults also asks why they're doing this. Like, why the hell are you wanting our kids? Which Ashlyn cruelly laughs and implies that nothing tastes better than a heart seasoned with innocence and youth. She and her kin have come to hunt and gorge themselves, as many do on Halloween night.
Yeah, can't begrudge them that.
I mean, everybody likes a night off, don't they?
I love it. The taste of innocence is...
Oh, mate.
Horrorish.
As the demons begin to advance, it's clear now that they're demons who are becoming to basically harvest children.
Right, yeah.
Maybe there'd be like a sort of a key. I don't want anything too full on, like we're from hell, but they are some kind of supernatural kind of entity, some like demonic thing. As demons begin to advance, Alison and the other parents charge to meet them. Use everything they can to beat at the howling demons. Bits of furniture, car keys, everything. Miss Ashlyn and her brethren push and wail at them, but seem unable to fight back against the adults. They push and strike, but their strength seems sapped against the army of adults. Alison realises this and calls it out to everybody present, that they are unable to fight the adults in any kind of way, the strength that they show towards the children. The demons realise that they've lost their advantage and begin to back slightly away from the attack now. Miss Ashlyn screeches in frustration that this is unfair, as they're only there for the children, as they're not strong enough to fight against the adults. Some of the demons also appear to be slightly injured now, like small wounds, but like the adults have done some damage.
Enough that you know that they can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yeah.
Outside the hall, most of the police and FBI have now returned, because obviously people have been calling and saying shit's happening down here.
Yeah.
You can hear chaos inside there. This is where it's happening, so they all rush back. But they're still being blocked by the hellish arms blocking their path. But as the fight turns within the hall, the barrier begins to weaken. The arms bleed profusely when wounded, and no more arms grow from the wall. The armed law enforcement tumbles into the hall after just digging and shooting and taking the arms out of the way. Now the town's adults and surviving children advance on the injured and visibly scared demons. Their upside down faces now streaked with panic. With multiple guns pointed at them, they begin to melt back into the shadows. Miss Ashlyn begins to threaten that she will be back next year to devour their children, until Ellis steps forward with both his parents holding a broken piece of bed frame. And then as a family, they drive this makeshift spear into Miss Ashlyn's face, sending arches of ink-black blood splattering against the wooden floor. Her body twitches violently like a wounded animal or an insect as she falls still and melts away into the shadows. Epilogue. It cuts to the next year's Halloween. Many houses lay empty, including Abby's and the rest of those that lost children that night. So if the kids died, you just think, I'm moving.
I'm going,
out of it.
yeah.
But many have stayed, including Ellis and his family, so like the parents who rallied, and most of the kids did survive that ordeal. They're getting ready to go out, and it's now Halloween night a year later. They're ready to go out and they're meeting friends outside. So there's a big group now of kids and everything else. The kids are now carrying pumpkin bags, but are wearing no costumes. But they are carrying makeshift spears. They laugh and joke as they walk to the first house and ring the bell. An adult with a crudely done upside-down face makeup answers the door and then shrinks back in sort of fake terror and comments on how scary they look. They then hand the children handfuls of sweets and candy. That's the end.
Well,
all right. What do you think? It's a bit of a weird one.
No, I mean,
yeah,
I like it. I mean, it's a lot of kids killed.
There's a lot of kids killed.
Yeah.
I little bit of a caveat on this one because my last one was quite personal and I felt had I was trying to do something a little bit more sort of introspective. Yeah. This one I've tried to just do spooky, full on ghost, not ghost, but full on horror, spooky, scary stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I like it. I think, obviously, as a movie, you'd have to flesh out a lot.
There's a lot
of the first two acts. So the third act's largely, one presumes, the village hall.
Yeah, that really is.
Halloween Nights is kind of Act 3.
Yeah.
So I think Act 1 and 2, you have to flesh out a lot of scares in there. I think
you could have a lot more of the children, not just Ellis, but being stalked by the sort of cloaked figures in the daylight as well as everything else. So they're not actually being they're almost like they're being herded almost. So they're putting more stress on the children. So the town reacts by putting the children in one place. So they're not actively killing anybody anymore. They're just kind of spooking and scaring.
Had you given any reason, even for yourself, as to why it was happening? What was there a cause? Why had it happened previous Halloweens?
Yes. The reason that I had the basic background premise, which you would need to put in there, which I couldn't find a way of doing, is that Miss Ashlyn and her kin, a certain kind of maybe demon or something, who...
Oh, so she wasn't possessed by one of them?
No, she is one of them. She has...
Gotcha, right, I didn't pick that up.
And her and her kind, her little subsect, as you will, are basically acting well outside of their jurisdiction. They are basically kind of going, fucking everyone's up there having fun on Halloween, having a bit of a good time. Why don't we do that? Why don't we go out there and we get our treats?
Yeah, we're just going to take what we want.
Yeah, and they're acting way above their purview. They're not... Demons aren't meant to stalk the earth, not meant to kill kids and stuff. Right. But Miss Ashlyn's got a little bit big for her boots. A little bit like, let's go up there and we'll have a feast, guys.
Typical Miss Ashlyn. No, that makes sense.
You would have to weave that in. I think you'd have to do that in the town hall scene. Because that's in time when the monsters are given any kind of...
I don't know, I think you'd want... it'd be kind of nice maybe to have a thread of narrative in the first two acts where Miss Ashling is very much a figure of hope and help.
Yes, definitely.
So you bait and switch it.
Yeah. I've got a very clear visual in mind.
So she almost... It obviously isn't the main protagonist, but she almost is one of the... Yeah. And so you, the audience, are really, really, really on her side.
She's the only adult who seems to understand. Who, when the kids tell her about the stresses they're under, is kind of doesn't dismiss it as hysteria.
It'd be kind of cool if there was a reason that it was this town.
Yeah, I struggled with that.
Yeah.
Couldn't do that.
Well, that's fine. That's fine though.
Yeah, guys.
That's up for. Well, maybe Dre Dubs can think of a reason. So, thinking of. Would there be a secondary narrative, and if so, would that be around, just a little bit around why it happens to be that town? Yeah. Something changes, something happens,
I think you'd definitely have to maybe put the authority of the town into it somehow. Like the mayor and the extra police force and the people who are heading the case, maybe they could give something. They would be in a prime position to give something like that.
Yeah, maybe it's something to do with the girl that gets killed in the opening scene.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
And that's why she is essentially... Because all the others are killed in number, right?
Yeah.
And she's the only one that's sort of singled out.
You could have her dabbing it in the occult in some way.
Yeah, you could. And maybe perhaps accidentally, because if you're saying she's sort of 13, 14...
Yeah, you'd have to raise it to 16.
It would have to be, but that's quite a nice idea.
Yeah. It's basically about a small town learning the lesson of Halloween, which is
what?
Which is a kind of like a defiance of the things that scare us, a defiance of death, a defiance of monsters. It's a kind of.
But that wasn't traditionally because All Hallows Eve.
Oh, that's just a load of shit.
Well, I mean,
some people. I don't mean to sound so dismissive and glib about it. I mean. Yeah, I do think a lot of the sort of the pagan origins for Halloween is as full of as much misinformation and misinterpretation as we have for Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't think really any specific view of Halloween holds up to much scrutiny in any way.
Yeah, quite.
So I would say I'm taking very much like a modern interpretation of Halloween. And essentially I think that this town has learnt the modern joy of Halloween, which is the kids... can have a fun time with just things that would normally scare the shit out.
No, it's good. I mean, I like the fact that, Ellis survives.
Yeah.
And I make the assumption that perhaps his parents or some parents in the town are also fairly main characters that do survive too.
Yeah, you could definitely flesh out a lot more of them.
I mean, but you do kill a lot of kids. Didn't you say 15, 16 were in that changing room? That's a lot, man. That's high kid kill count. Even if you don't have kids, you find that.
This is the thing I was saying before about horror being a way of exercising anxiety. I mean, with this, you've got the kids literally being robbed of their voices, and then their innocent hearts being devoured.
Yeah, I think as well. I think that's another good thing you'd want to make more of is the idea that if something is genuinely happening to them, but people aren't really listening to them. And I think there's a lot of terror in that idea.
I think you could lower the amount of children killed in the locker room to maybe 5. We're talking numbers. You can make them.
No, you know,
16,
I'm not arguing. I'm
17.
not arguing for that. I actually think do it the way you had it. I'm not. I just.
I did have that.
I just wanted to feel self-righteous that my kill count is significantly lower.
Yeah, I have killed a lot more
I did
kids.
do a quick. So because of the conversation I was having, I did do a quick tally. So I've done 5 stories, and or 5 film pictures, if you like, and 2 of them have kids in peril.
I think I've got my first story was kids being fed to monsters.
That's true.
Triceratops was kids being made into monsters.
True again.
I think I took a break on it. I think I very consciously took a break on it.
Yeah.
And in this one, I thought, fuck it.
Here's a father with something to say.
I do get frustrated that we blame a lot of kids for the fact that our society has got a lot to learn still. And we are getting better, as you say. We don't in this country send them down pit, but you know,
not anymore.
No, but we outsource the work.
And we get other people's kids to do it.
Yeah.
Had you thought about any titles?
I genuinely haven't. I tried really hard.
We've had this before.
Yeah, we have. I mean, you could call it Halloween, but I'm pretty sure.
I think that might be taken. What about Halloween 2?
Yeah, I could call it Halloween 2.
So they're just demons. So the problem is we don't have a fixed location. We're somewhere in the Midwest of North America. So
let's say Colorado. Just put a pin in the map.
Snowy.
Yeah.
Colorado. So we're a Rockies state. We've got the Rocky Mountains. All right.
Yeah. Lovely part of the world.
I would love to go.
I've never been, but I've seen pictures.
And I hear it's only got better in the last few years.
How's it?
Yeah. Also, plus the certain legislative changes have taken place there, which have led the way for other places around the US and with any luck internationally. Yeah. I mean, I won't go into the who wants to hear about laws and legislation. No one. So there's no need to be specific about what exactly changed a few years ago.
I think it does demonstrate the power of your lobbying influence.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't shut up about it.
So shout out to them.
Hey, Coloradians? What do you call it? Coloradians?
Yeah, Coloradian.
Colorodio?
Colorodio.
It's got to be a Coloradian, surely.
Yeah, it's got to be Colorado.
Coloradian? Radian? I guess
it sounds vaguely Star Trekian. I don't know why. A Floridian? That's 4 one we're talking about.
Floridian's good. Always sounds like fluoride to me when I hear someone say Floridian. Floridian. So is that water Floridian? Yeah, it's got fluoride in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
That's how it sounds to me.
Yeah.
No disrespect, obviously. What was the state we were starting? Oh, Coloradian. It just doesn't sound right. Doesn't sound to my ear. It just sounds.
Someone from Colorado.
Coloradians, tweet us, write in.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out. Just say it out loud. Hopefully we'll hear.
Scream infuriate the
names. Okay, names. So demon. I mean the demon ween.
I mean, I think that really limits where you can really place it.
Dead kids, but dead just DED, just so it's not too obvious.
But people will think it's gonna be like one of those like.
And kids has got a Z instead of an S.
Yeah.
Dead kids.
Like the brats.
Yeah.
Let's call it brats. Your broken jaws.
Yeah, the jaws line was where I was heading as well.
Trick or treat. That's not used, is it?
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat is a very famous Halloween movie.
I
was just being silly.
Oh,
Dave.
you.
This is just classic banter. This is classic libtard banter I'm doing.
School ground kid massacre.
You're really putting it all on the table. Look, kids are going to get massacred. It's a cool school ground kid massacre.
I mean, I don't know, man. Killing kids in the US at the moment is not the hottest.
Oh, God,
thing.
yeah. Shit, I didn't think about that. Fuck.
But hey,
shit.
None of them are getting shot.
This film's unusable. This film, honest to God, if I'd made that connection, I wouldn't have written this. Fuck yeah.
It doesn't really matter that you said it in the US, though, does it? It could be said anywhere.
No, change it. Fuck, change it.
Alright.
I'm genuinely a bit embarrassed and ashamed of that.
So we're saying it's an English horror now.
Yeah.
Is it English or you want to say it in Ireland? Because in Ireland, why not?
They've had dead kids for a while.
No, but you know they might have something because it's the old land ancient, you know, so they might have something that you could trigger an old Irish thing that triggers the demons to come out.
Yeah.
In the way. I don't know.
Let's set it in mainland Europe.
Limerick. Child Bane.
The town that learned to love Halloween.
So you could always come up with you could do the thing of just coming up with the name, just make up a name of a place, and be like,
I feel like maybe a bit like
the haunting of, Bamble Bridge.
Yeah, Oakland or something.
Oakland is a place in just outside San Francisco.
That's where it's set, mate. We've solved
I thought
two
you said
birds
you
with
weren't
one
gonna.
stone.
I thought you said you didn't want to set it in the US.
Oh God, I feel genuinely
after
horrible
your
about that.
massive faux pas.
I feel horrible about that. Because you couldn't do it. You have to change the whole thing.
Yeah.
Fuck. I feel awful. I genuinely feel a bit terrible.
Problems in Preston. See, the thing is, by just going generic demon, you've robbed us of a bit of detail that may have given us a title.
I agree. I fudged it.
Fudged it.
I did look up upside down faces and stuff, but there's no existing thing of that. I've just come up with it because I'm that clever.
You could call it Ellis Island. Ellis, you could just call it Ellis Survives. Although that kind of, I don't know if that would take a lot of the punch out of the plots.
Ben dies most of the way through.
Stuff happens. Stuff happens on Halloween.
Yeah. Halloween hijinks.
Oh God.
I don't think you want to advertise the whole dead kid aspect.
Well, no, but
leave that as
that's the body of what we've got to work with. That's I think that's why we're both sort of gravitating towards that.
Kind saying that's all the movie is.
No, in terms of specifics, because again, if you don't have a place name necessarily or a place, so we don't have that. The demons is that's something. You could call it like the Education of Ellis, whatever his name is.
I like that. The Education of Ellis is good. The Education of Ellis, I think, is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's alliterative. I like it.
Education of Ellis.
That I think that's the name of the episode, mate. You smashed it. I mean, it's either that or Irish Dead Kid Massacre. I don't know.
It doesn't have to be in Ireland. I was just trying to find a hook to help me get to a title. Help me ground it somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. The Education of Ellis.
Yeah.
If you've got a better idea, folks, you can tweet us at LMAHMPod on Twitter, LMAHMPod.
And what the listeners will probably not realise by when they'll hear this, we've had about 20 minutes working on that. So if you've got something better, keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
We've worked on pulling that one out.
You can email us at letsmakeahorrormovie@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram under the same moniker. And as I say, we're on Twitter. We John does well. I kind of make a big old fucking
I've
pig
been a
of
bit
it.
quiet as of late, to be fair.
You've been a quiet chap, but nonetheless, we are knocking about on there.
Yeah, come soon. Have you got any plans for Halloween?
Me?
Yes. To discuss and shocking your voice tells me all I need.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I will tell you legitimately what I'm going to do on Halloween. Almost certainly, right? I'm going to turn off the lights.
Quite a euphemism
in the house that face the street. So that's the living room and a hallway light. And, and then I'll either migrate back down here to the cabin in the woods.
Yep.
Or I will migrate up to a bedroom at the back of the house and ignore everything.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because
sounds nice.
I don't have kids,
of course,
and it's the whole thing. I just feel like I kind of want to get into it.
Yeah,
but I don't know because I don't have kids of my own. Almost seems a bit weird if I sort of
if you go all out.
If I sort of really got into it.
Yeah.
So what I do is I put a bowl of chocolates and treats and stuff on the front doorstep.
Nice.
So if they do approach, and they ring the bell, they don't get an answer stuff. They'll say because they probably won't.
Yeah.
And I think, to be honest, I've been here a good few years now, and a few initially very early on got a couple of doorbell rings.
Yeah.
But just started putting the bowl out, and then last year I don't think I got any I don't think anyone rang the bell.
To be fair, you are known as Spooky Dave.
Well, I don't get home till 7:30 at night.
I have seen kids dead and dare each other to come near the house.
And if they come near, they're dead.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I mean, also, I think it's worth saying that you do put a bowl out of sweets, but you do piss on them as you put them out.
Well, and I mean, they're all being pissed.
They're all soaked.
Half of them been up my arse.
the game is which half. So that's the real trick-or-treat bowl, isn't it?
But no, I don't know. I'm not a misanthrope about this. Like, I kind of want to get involved, but the virtue of the fact that I haven't managed to generate a family out of my life, I sort of decided to take a step back from this one.
Oh, of course, that makes sense.
Yeah, and also...
I just meant, are you going to watch any movies or anything?
Well, no, probably not. Well, yeah, I will probably watch a movie, but not a horror movie, because I don't know if we've said this on the podcast before, but you know this very well.
Yeah.
I don't watch horror movies on my own,
Yeah.
as a rule, unless I've already seen them, because it's my thrill ride, right?
Yeah.
I want a horror movie to scare me.
They're scary business.
But if I'm in my house alone at night and it's dark, I don't necessarily want to get myself fucking shit scared and then have to go around the house turning out all the lights. So I save them for when you and I do horror movie nights.
Of course.
That's, and then it's a bit of a different atmosphere. And then, of course, on the other end, Event Horizon.
Yes.
The man is...
He cried his eyes inside out.
And guess who else was in that film?
Lawrence Fishburne. One of my personal favourites.
But who else relevant to this podcast?
Oh, fuck, it's a Pertwee. It's a Pertwee
Sean
movie.
Pertwee.
Oh, I'm blinded by my genuine love of Lawrence Fishburne, and I overlooked Pertwee.
Both of whom have got sort of verb-based surnames. A Pertwee. I'm going to have a Pertwee. I'm going to burn a fish. I mean, no coincidence, is it?
No, it's not. I mean,
and I'm Neil.
It's suspicious, isn't
Kneel down, have a Pertwee, and burn that fish. It's an Illuminati thing.
It's all connected.
Yeah, you can read about it on the Boys on Bond blog.
Yeah, which goes to some weird places.
No stone left unturned.
Yeah.
Unless, as we said at the beginning, it's got a bit bird shit on it.
Yeah, in which case we'll walk away.
Something wet. Something wetter and squiggly that you can't see.
Yeah.
And instantly it's
like a Pertwee or burnt fish.
If you've got any other additions to the doing things, the verbinated surname, that's not a proper term.
Yeah.
But at least obviously understood by LMAHMPod.
Of course.
Verbinated.
Yeah.
Who's got a verbinated surname other than Pertwee, Fishburne, Neil, Tom Cruise?
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to be hearing the Jeremy Irons.
I forgot about
that's
Jeremy
done.
Irons.
We've all heard that. We've all had the requisite amount of chuckles.
Yeah. Tom Waits, we'll get that one out of the way.
We've done those, guys.
Yeah.
Just try something a little bit fresh.
Yeah, tweet us those.
Tweet us those, but not those ones.
J-Dubs, this has your name all over it.
Yeah, it's just very much speaking to Just AJ.
Yeah, I feel at this point, we'd also accept suggested verbinated surnames.
People whose names are wrong and should be.
Fish Quiet. What? Quiet's a fish. Just saying,
And who would that be?
Would make Bob Fish Quiet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Fishburne, you're all like, oh yeah, no raised eyebrows there. As soon as someone says Fish Quiet, you're like, what? The fuck did you just say? The fuck is that noise coming out of your mouth?
Well, I mean, to be fair, Fishburne, you didn't come up with.
No, I know.
He is a person. Fish Quiet is from your own diseased imagination.
Yeah, but Bob Fish Quiet could easily be as famous as Lawrence Fishburne.
Could easily be.
They'll even share the fish part of their name.
I think the fact...
And you can't make that jump. That's what I'm struggling with.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm limited in this one, I'm afraid. I'm going trick-or-treating.
Oh, sorry, what are you doing for Halloween, John?
Trick-or-treating, pizza takeaway, and watching The Shining.
Oh, The Shining.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think pretty much every year we watch it. Well, you got every year. Also, Doctor Sleep starts soon, so.
I don't want to get rambly. We should probably draw it to
so have a nice Halloween night, everyone.
Oh, yeah. How I call in on John's house, get involved in his pizza.
Yeah.
And what did you say you're going to watch a film?
Shining.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's like up to the minute responses.
I'm not well.
And enjoy your own day's pissy sweets.
Yeah, have an happy Halloween, everyone.